Mm-hmm. All right, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. That made me feel better. Uh, I wasn't so sure it was gonna work, but that definitely made me feel better. I can't even lie. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Politics. Um, Thanks for joining me as always. Erica, I see you in here. Thanks for joining me. I'm using a different mic today, so hopefully it's not too much background noise. I feel like it might be, but hopefully it's not. Um, yeah, just jump right into it. So Joe Biden has won the presidency again for the 40th time, I think, since November, and everybody should be proud and happy, I guess. Again, the electoral college did. The electoral college did officially um, uh, announce or submit votes for Joe Biden. So he will be your next president, no matter how many lawsuits or whatever else is going on. Whatever else is going on, whatever other lawsuits that's trying to is being proposed, no matter how many things were shut down by the Supreme Court, all this stuff. Joe Biden will be your next president, and right, that's like official. Like nothing could be done. Um, so that's always a good thing. Um, Nothing much happened this week. We're still waiting on word for stimulus packages, not just like the individual payouts for. I know what you guys want. Y'all want checks. Um, so not just what the hell is going on? Not just the individual payouts, but stimulus for local governments and local services that we all pay for, tax money pay for. Whether it's like getting your street cleaned or plowed now, you're not very worried about your street getting clean, or if you're well, typically it would be like uh, uh, your libraries, your community centers, that type of stuff would be affected. But I mean, that stuff is affected. It's not open for the most part now um, because of coronavirus. Everything's shut down. But that type of money will be affected. That type of stuff will be, um, you know, a part of this bigger package. Up until a few days ago, they were not talking about at all giving individual payouts. But now, at the end of last week, they started talking about it, and they actually put it in there. But if you're expecting $1,200, don't. They said it would be anywhere between $300 and $700, which I guess it's still a decent amount of money. I guess it's still it's money that you didn't have, that you didn't count on, that you would get. I think the 1,200 per person, and then the 500 for children. I feel like that's more what people need as far as paying rent and catching up on bills, and having an opportunity to catch their breath before they just to have a moment to relax. Like $3,500, $3,400 for like let's say two parents and two kids. It's not like you're not getting rich off of that, but you can pay your rent for a month or two, maybe. Saying pay your bills up a little bit to the point where you can take a deep breath. If you're not working, then of course it'll be a great thing. If you are working but your hours been reduced, like it'll be a great thing for you. Um, I don't know how this is not common sense. Of course, they always try to package the stuff that you really want with other stuff that they want, and it's a whole back and forth nonsense. It's just a big ass game. And it's really annoying. And I heard Bernie Sanders say something similar. So although they are near um, an agreement on what the stimulus is going to be, 90 billion, 900 billion dollars, um, which is down a lot from the 3 trillion, or I'm sorry, 1.3 trillion. I think they were asking for this time. So that's down a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, but it's down a lot of money, and that's because they took away giving everybody $1,200 checks plus 500 for kids, and all of that stuff that people actually need for their day-to-day life. And I kind of feel the same way as Bernie Sanders do, because all right, so you send money to save small businesses, that's fine. I'm all for that. I'm a small business. We're a small business. Whatever. I'm all for that stuff. But if people don't have money to spend at these small businesses, then how are you really helping them? You know what I'm saying? Like long term, like how are you? All right, so they can pay their rent this month and not go out of business, which is fine. But they're also not making any money because the normal people don't have the disposable income to go and spend money with these small businesses. So it's kind of a balancing game. But I think ultimately, the everyday people that don't own businesses or they do own business or whatever, they're gonna need that money, man. They're gonna need that money. Like like Angela said, send me my check, thanks. Like, that's all she care about, and that's all she wants. I don't blame her. I don't blame her for that at all. Um, so yeah, so that's the update on as far as the stimulus checks and stuff. It's important. Mine said, I don't see people getting money before December 24th. Absolutely not. It'll be no way impossible they could approve something and get money out that soon. Um, but they have been dedicated in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has been dedicated, saying that they will get something before they take a recess. He told the senators to get ready for a vote this weekend. So don't be trying to leave right away. This weekend we will be having a vote. So hopefully that vote gets passed. We'll get something going into the new year. After New Year's time, we get tax season, and hopefully a stimulus will come with that after the Biden administration has took over. Hopefully that's like you know issue number one or two besides getting this vaccine out more and more. I think that's definitely should be tops of the list is getting people more money out here, um, and getting that vaccine out to the people who need it. Virginia, thanks for joining. Brian, thanks for joining. Ma, I see you up there. I know you're still in here. Ma, you said no recess. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they had to have a vote for more money to keep the government open, and why they just so annoying. Where they voted earlier, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, about keeping the government open, but the government, so I mean they receive money to keep the government functioning for stuff that we can't use, and to pay people who are not passing the laws that we need to pass in order to live like our normal everyday lives, normal in the pandemic. But they pass something so that they can have money and that they make sure that they get paid. But what about the everyday people that need stuff? You know, whether it's you need help paying your rent or mortgage, or like the federal like eviction ban that they had a couple of months ago. Like all that stuff is expiring, but nobody is working more. You know, at my job, they laid off people yesterday. They laid off people a couple of weeks. I want to say last month, then a couple of weeks ago, and then yesterday. So, as you get closer to the holiday season, closer to the new year and stuff, so for them to not pass any of this stuff, like it's been, once the last one passed in May, April or something like that. Like that's way too long. You know, where you're only giving people $1,200. And all right, so the people that was unemployed, they got a nice little bonus for a couple months. But even that stuff run out eventually. You know what I'm saying? You got paying bills. Hopefully, it's probably not enough to really save. You're just trying to do what you can do to make your ends meet. And while they sit around and argue semantics back and forth and get nothing done. So hopefully this will go through sooner rather than later. We'll get something, and then once the Biden administration get in there, we'll get a bigger payout for just the everyday person. Hopefully, of course, there is no guarantees in this politics stuff, like not at all. But they sound like they're real close on that package, so it's not the greatest gift in the world, but I'm sure if everybody receive, let's say $500, you receive $500 by the end of the year, that wouldn't be the worst thing to ever happen. Let me see. So what do you guys think about the vaccine so far? I know we kind of talked about it a lot. So we talked about some people saying that they would take it, some people saying that they wouldn't take it. Now that people are actually getting it, now that people are getting it on live television, and it's kind of a big deal, and it's it's a whole thing, like where you can see people actually taking it, and you can see that so far nobody has had any side effects that I've read or heard of. So like, what do you have anybody changed? Like, have anybody said that they wouldn't take it, but now that you see people taking it, that you will take it? Or anybody that said they wouldn't take it, do you think you will take it now? I'm just curious. Virginia said, "All stop people. I love that background. Thank you." It's Cleveland. In case you didn't know, it's pretty great. Angela said, "I just asked my niece who is an RN. She said no for her too soon. She's not confident in it." Okay. Okay. I read somewhere the Ohio governor had a press conference this morning, and somebody was also saying that they were a nursing student and that they wouldn't take the vaccine. I asked why, but I never got a response. Just kind of curious of why and where people's minds are. The one thing I don't like about it, like I still think I'm standing pat. Well, one, I wouldn't be eligible to take it soon anyway, and two, I think the thing I don't like about it is how much they're playing up the black aspect of it. Like, so, Dr. Fauci made a point to say that if you're black and you're worried about the vaccine, understandably so. If anybody know anything about the history of the government and black people and vaccinations, taking shots or whatever, you will understand why black people are skeptical. But the fact that he made the point to say, like it was developed, with a black doctor, and the first person in the United States to get it was like a black nurse or health worker. It was given to her by a black nurse or health worker. I kind of feel like they playing the black card up a lot. Yeah, I don't like that part. I don't know why. I get it. You want to reassure, but it's like white people are outnumber black people in this country. So for the masses, I would think you would want to show, white people as well, I guess. And of course, I've seen white people get it, but the ones that be live or right up on the front always be black people and black nurses. Or right before I came on, I seen a black head of a hospital, like a head of medicine or whatever, and he was getting a shot. He like the only hospital in Chicago or something is headed up by a black guy. He was getting a shot live on TV on CNN. That's the stuff that just kind of made me, look twice or whatever. That's my biggest thing, I guess. So not that I don't trust the science necessarily, Like I said, I haven't heard of any side effects. Um, y'all might have seen a rumor out there that the first batch, there were people that was getting the Bell's palsy. Um, First off, that's not this vaccine that's here in America. No. Secondly, the people that they showed were not the people who actually got the vaccine. Um, and I'm not saying it's cool, but at the Bell's palsy is a temporary, is a very temporary thing. So hopefully that wouldn't stop you from getting something that would be like life saving or whatever. Um, Angel said they aren't making it mandatory for her. Yeah, that's going to be a thing too, as far as can jobs making mandatory for you to get the vaccine. You have some jobs that make it mandatory for you to get like the flu vaccine every year. So I think that's something that's probably going to go to the higher courts later, once once it kind of die down or get to a point where it's manageable and where the vaccines are readily available. That's probably because you're going to have some people that say, like, I don't want to take it, or I already had it and I beat it and I feel like I got the antibody, so I don't want to take like a vaccine. Then you're gonna have some people that's going to say, well, some companies are going to say, well, I want to be able to protect the rest of our people, or if you work in a hospital or nursing home area where you don't want it to start back up again. So I think that that's going to be something that's going to be very contentious. That's going to go to the higher courts, probably a little bit later, mid or probably fall of 2021. Is can they make those shots mandatory? Erica said people have taken other vaccines in the past. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For people that say that you're not like, what's going to change? Like, we're talking about people we're talking about millions and billions of people. So you think if the numbers, like, so none of these vaccines tested back 100%. So some of them tested, not 96, 97, 90. You got these different percentiles. So none of them tested 100%, which means there are going to be some side effects. There are going to be some, whatever, where it don't work or whatever the case is. But that don't mean that the vaccine's not working or the science not working. You think if a billion people are cured or develop the antibodies and 100 people have side effects, you think they're going to change that thing? No, they're not doing it. So it will be the same thing as your flu or your, I don't know, whatever other virus vaccines are out there. It really will be the same. I'm just being honest with you. Angela says she works in the ER. I mean, I don't know. As long as you're being safe, there haven't been a crazy breakout of people in hospitals getting it because they, take the precautions. They wear the surgical mask and the N95 and the face shields and all that stuff. So of course some of them get sick, but for the majority, I haven't heard of like an outbreak at an ER. So as long as you're being safe and taking care of yourself, I guess you'll have to. Erica said that was giving me the side eye too. I think you mean about the black, either Fauci saying that it was developed by a black doctor or black people always being shown getting the vaccine. That part is kind of weird to me too. And Andrew said it's hard to trust any government. I agree with you for sure, and I'm sure that's everybody, but black people especially, man. Like when they inject you with stuff just to see what happens, like a real life science experiment, um, that's usually not good, like at all. Andrew said, my job offers and pays for flu vaccine, but you can refuse. Yeah. See, for what you do, that kind of makes sense, but for what some people do, like I said, if you're working in the medical field or you're working in the ER or you're working with patients that could be at risk, like the H1N1 scare, I don't want to say scare because some people didn't get it. I was working in the hospital at the time, and they made it pretty damn mandatory for you to get like a shot, like an antibody shot. Um, that wasn't a pandemic. It was a like an epidemic. It was big, but it wasn't like a worldwide thing. Um, but they made it pretty fucking. You had to take it damn near. There was certain ways you can get around it or whatever, but they made it clear that they wanted you to take that shot to be safe. That was another thing that was like droplet based, like most viruses are. Um, but yeah, you get it because of the line of work that you're in. The same way you get tested for like tuberculosis, and if you're in certain fields, like every year you got to get a TB shot or a TB test or whatever to make sure because of the line of work that you do. So it varies depending on what you do. And to say I don't even trust getting the flu vaccine. well, right. So look, and I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just trying to figure out where people's heads are. Like if you're not going to trust it, then don't trust it forever. Like don't say I don't trust it now, but I'll trust it in June. Like that just doesn't make sense. That's not good logic. But if you don't trust, the flu vaccine ever, and you never take it, then that makes sense. Erica said, "Remember chicken pox? We had to get it when we were children. My nieces and nephews don't. Yeah, the same way. Probably not our parents, Erica, but our grandparents or great grandparents or whatever, when they had measles and mumps and stuff. Then you completely eradicate it, and then you don't have to like. Then the series of shots that you get when you're a baby keep you from getting that. Like it completely kills." Um, the virus, or you have the antibodies so that you don't get the chicken pox and stuff. Um, like eventually that's where you want to be. But like I said before, a couple of years ago, you had people who, anti-vaccine people who, like we've seen a resurgence of like the mumps, I believe, because people wasn't giving their kids the shot. So over time, it just slowly developed and became like a thing again. Of course, it didn't blow up because for the majority, people still get their babies still get their series shots when they're young, and it still cures most of it. But some people do develop mumps now because of people are not getting the stuff that's proven forever. And yeah, Erica, just like you said in your next comment, polio and TB. My grandmother was quarantined with TB, and people had to get the vaccine for it. Exactly. Polio is another thing that was pretty much eradicated, but through a series. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I haven't seen any case of polio, but it is a thing that once was a thing that people had to deal with. But now, over time, science has come so far, and like I said, you get these series of shots when you're a kid where you don't have to worry about that stuff. And chickenpox, that's a great thing. And you know what? Before I even started doing this show or whatever, I was wondering, like, man, my little cousins, like, they didn't get like any of my little cousins that wasn't born in the '90s, like all the ones that was born in like the 2000s, they never got the chickenpox. Like I remember, you know, having being rubbed down with like calamine lotion, what I'm saying, all the time, what I'm saying. Or I had to, when I was a kid, so I had to like wear like socks on my hands so I wouldn't like be touching stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that was chickenpox for me, and I never seen it with chickenpox. Like it's something that was like completely eradicated. Angel said polio was cured by Dr. Jonas Salk in like 1957 or something. Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's stuff that was proven, and then you just keep doing it, and it gets to the point where not even everybody, but enough people take the vaccine just like this to the point where you can basically eradicate it, like completely. Basically, of course, you still get your one-offs or whatever, and then when you have a surge, and you get people that don't take the vaccines or don't get their kid vaccinated, um, you know, then that's just what you have. She said he did a lot of work with the March of Dimes. Do you notice? Like, did you just look this up, or do you notice? And that's something you did research on before, or I'm interested. But yeah, is that so the vaccine? I just people that say that they don't trust it now, but they'll trust it later. Those are the people that I just don't understand. Because the science, of course, you can improve on it. Don't get me wrong. Um, of course, you can get to that 100% or 99%, 99.9, whatever. But if you think that the science itself is going to change, then it's not. It just doesn't make any sense. Angel said, "No, I used to train people on it." Okay. On how important it was to get your shots so that you don't get polio. Hmm. At my old job career a lifetime ago. Well, that's good. I'm glad you retain that information. It's definitely a good thing. So keep that type of information handy. You never know when you're going to use it. That's what I do. I just learn a bunch of stuff and hope it comes up in conversation one day. Um, so yeah, so hopefully uh, we get a combination of the vaccine working well, get a combination of money coming in, income coming in, and hopefully those things together will combine to help us have a pretty good summer, a better summer than we had this past year, 6 months ago or whatever. Um, where stuff we can actually do stuff and restaurants and stuff will be open. It's always interesting. It's always something to keep your eye on to make sure, as people are worried about, I guess, that the vaccine is working, that there are no more, giant surges. Like I said, something interesting will be to watch later in the year is going to be whether jobs make that vaccine mandatory or not. In certain fields, certain companies, I think that's going to be. Uh, you just kind of never know. You just kind of never know. So that's definitely something to look out for. Angela said, she said we raised funds, so we did training to things. I'm sorry, training to help people raise money to fight more cures. That's cool. It's very charitable. Erica said a lot of things on the internet is fear-based and propaganda. We can't control what happens in life. We got to trust that things will be well. Man, you can't say it any better than that, Erica. And I mean it too. Um, you can't say it any better than that. We're not in control of anything. You know what I'm saying? If the government said right now that everybody got to take it, like who's gonna say no? Like they made it mandatory. What are you gonna do? You go to a different country? You know what I'm saying? Like so, we're not. We can only do. All we can do is, like you said, trust that things will be well. Say our prayers. Have hope in our heart that this is what's going to be, and we're going to be better for it. But we don't have any control over those type things. So you do your research and you hope for the best. That's all you can do. And always remember that nothing is 100%. Nothing. So that's it for me. Oh, I got one kind of a request. Of course, I'll keep tabs on it. Um, just be on the lookout for how many people in the Trump cabinet or Trump appointed people quit before January 20th. His attorney general that he selected, William Barr, already quit. Even though they got less than a month, or I'm sorry, a month and 4 days. Before they'll be out anyway. But this way he was able to quit beforehand. But just keep an eye on all these people that claim to be Trump loyalists and all this stuff. Just watch how they quit before before January 20th. Oh, Pete Buttigieg, the Democratic not nominee. I'm sorry, he was running for president this past year. He's been assigned to the Department of Transportation in the Biden cabinet. I don't really know what that position does. I know that transportation is something important to Joe Biden, though. He always talking about trains and how he caught the train to work for 1,000 years and all that stuff. But I think it's important because he he might be the future of the Democratic Party, being how young he is, 38, I think. And this will allow him to have a federal position, like in a cabinet, so he can learn a bunch of stuff uh, and potentially use that experience down the line when he runs for president again. I'm sure he is. Um, Andrew said, "Pray for our leaders and all the sciences, etc." That's it. Pray that they have a steady hand. Pray that they're not sleepy when they, looking at these microscopes. And like I said, science. I didn't say it here, but science is being able to, before something becomes like a scientific fact, it has to be able to be done over and 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 over. So it wasn't like they, gave the vaccine to like the coronavirus cells, it killed, and they're like, oh, we got success here. Let's send it out to people. It's something that got to be tested over and over and over. So if you think you're going to be the one exception where they're going to change it, it's just not happening. Erica says, so Trump still hasn't conceded? No, not at all. Not at all, and he probably won't, but it doesn't matter. The Electoral College already 2 days ago selected Joe Biden, or officially made him the president. So no matter what, when January 20th comes, we'll have a new president. Like that, whether he concedes or not, he'll be removed, and that's fine. Erica said, I haven't paid any attention to politics or the news lately. I don't blame you. It's usually not like the best time, to look at that type of stuff, but it is also so much stuff going on behind the scenes, and so much more important things that can be that should be worked on, that should be done. So that's why you come here every Wednesday to get like a nice little recap nationally. But that's it for me, man. That's all I got. So you guys take it easy out there. Be safe. Eric said, I'm proud of people who are voting in Georgia. Yeah, I never mentioned that, but Georgia had a very, very good turnout for their Senate race, like early voting. I think the actual vote day is the 5th of January, I believe. But of course, you can vote early, and they had a very, very good turnout of early voting so far. So I'm proud of them. Georgia's not one of those states where they count the votes early, so we probably won't know until January 5th. But hopefully, we can get something done. If we, as in Democrats, are able to win the Senate, I super highly, highly believe that we'll be getting some kind of a real stimulus package once Joe Biden takes place. And needless to say, I'm sure everybody looking forward to that, along with stuff for our small businesses and the big corporations. That's on y'all. Y'all should have been saving money. But yeah, so like I said, that's it for me. Y'all be safe. I'll have an update on Georgia next week, I promise. Looking forward to seeing you guys Sunday. Thanks for joining me as always. Stay safe out there. I know I said it was crucial. Just because the vaccine around don't mean anything. And take care of your people. I'm gonna end out with that video because it actually did make me feel better going into today's show. And looking forward to seeing y'all Sunday, like I said. So salute to the city as always. Stay safe, and I'll see y'all Sunday.